So I was not going to address this initially because part of me understands that when you're a content creator online with a public platform, you're going to get nonsense, you're going to get haters. I wouldn't call them haters, but you're going to get a lot of opinions thrown in your way, in your direction, because your content is out there for everyone to see. Now, if you're showing yourself, you're even more subject to that scrutiny. And I can handle it for the most part. I am the type of person where if someone comes on my page with nonsense, I can discern that this person doesn't really come in peace. I don't have a conversation with them. I don't try to go back and forth. I simply block them from my channel. Now, if they remember the channel and make a new username, hopefully they learn their lesson and try not to do those types of things again. But I pride myself on keeping my community and my channel a peaceful place. And while I am open to everyone's opinion, right, it has nothing to do with you have to agree with me or you have to say be a yes person or you only have to point out good things about me. That's not what I'm talking about here. But what I am talking about is the types of comments that comes in the name of I'm trying to help you or giving me advice that I simply did not ask for. And ladies, one of an important social etiquette rule is you do not give unsolicited advice unless someone's asked you for it. I don't care if you found the secret miracle to growing my edges back. If I didn't ask you for your advice, if I didn't ask in a community post for people to come on and say, hey, you guys, share with me your best edge restoration, concoction, recipe, treatment, whatever it is, don't share your advice. It is perhaps one of my insecurities about my hair, about my hairline. It's not something that I am depressed about. I'm not, up in arms about. I still show up because they're not that big of an insecurity. But sometimes when people come on the page and that's the first thing, they don't even watch the video or they may not comment on something I said in the video, their comment goes straight to my hairline. I don't appreciate comments like that. Okay, I know I show up and I talk to you girls about embracing our God-given beauty, becoming God's standard of beauty and celebrating that. Never feeling like you have to apologize or you have to borrow another person's hair texture or you have to straighten your hair to make it look acceptable, but truly walking in the freedom of who and how God created you. So that does not mean, however, that I do not struggle in that department. For the most of my hair journey, it was very difficult. It was about my hair texture, my density, and of course my hairline. But I would say it was safe for me to say that about 90% of my insecurities when it comes to my physical appearance have been dealt with. But I am human. I still have things I want to work on. And sometimes when people come on my page and just point that out, it does upset me. It does bother me because I don't know why as a community, we have to tear each other down so bad. It's like, how do you wake up in the morning, find a person's YouTube channel, look at them and comment, literally get the comment box ready. And your first words is your hairline thinning? Have you tried castor oil? Have you tried onion juice or rosemary? It's almost like if we were having a conversation about desserts and I start talking about my favorite dessert being red velvet chocolate cake or red velvet cake, which is basically chocolate cake. And we're just talking about desserts. And I share with you my fave. And then you don't acknowledge anything I just said. You jump straight to, what are you going to have for dinner tonight? What are you cooking for dinner tonight? That's what those comments, when they come in, that's how they sound like. That is the vibe they're giving. you guys may not have seen comments like that because as soon as it comes through my filter on YouTube, I read it and I make sure I'm discerning, like, okay, is this person being nice, or are they being nice nasty? Are they being condescending, rude, whatever it may be? And even if they're not, I still block, because there is something to be said about a person who feels so comfortable telling a woman they don't know, we're total strangers, and you want to tell me about my edges and how I need to fix my edges. I'm going to talk about some things later on in this video about why my hairline looks the way it does. So we're going to get to that. But if we're strangers and this is my platform, yes, I'm subject to the opinions of the internet because it's public. But because it's my platform, I can decide and moderate what comments come through and what people have access to it. And I think it was several videos back, I can't remember which one, but I mentioned my edges, my hairline, because people constantly bring it up. At one point, I used to let those comments come through, but then I say, you know what? I'm still struggling in this area, so I'm going to start blocking and removing comments that, point this out. And it may sound petty and it may make you think that I'm insecure or I'm immature about how I'm handling it, but that is the best way for me to handle it at this point. I feel that, so several videos ago, I mentioned it. And some of you did respond and you shared some remedies. But I remember saying in the video, it is not something I'm trying to fix right now. I'm just going to let the passage of time and care and prayer for my edges to be restored. Other than that, I am not fixating on it. I'm not going to fixate on it. There's nothing I can do about that right now. And yet, so many people still said, try this, try this, try this. And I know you meant well. But there is something undercutting to a Black woman when people are constantly bringing up her hairline or her edges. We have a problem in this community because we feel like everybody should have thick edges. And that is the first thing I want to address. Genetically speaking, I have never had thick edges. Never. All through my childhood, even before I started getting braids and relaxers, I never had thick edges. Never. That's why I used to get teased for my big forehead, because sometimes your hairline can mask and give the illusion that your forehead is smaller. But not only do I have a big, beautiful forehead, but I've never had a thick hairline. Both of my sister and I, and my family, women in my family. So not every Black woman is going to have slayed edges where you get to swoop and swirl and all that. And certain number 2 textures, you cannot accomplish that look unless you're using like heavy glues. You're not going to get that look either. It's a stupid standard that we've made because so many of us are not used to seeing our hairline without lace frontals. Lace frontals have become the blueprint of what a Black woman's hairline is supposed to look like. So this obsession with, your edges, your hairline needs to be thick and all, it's no different when we talk about thickening hair that is naturally fine or low density. And there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to thicken your hair. I don't want to thicken my hair. And why do we feel this need to demonize or make it seem like women who do not have high density or coarser strands have a problem? We don't have a problem. God just decided to make me with low density and fine hair, fine textured hair. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just this obsession is so cringe to me that out of everything you're getting out of my channel, if you've been around, I'm talking about the comments that come in that from users I don't recognize. And I'm thankful for my channel growth. I appreciate you guys for subscribing and joining the channel memberships and all that. I appreciate that. I do. So I welcome newcomers. I welcome you and your opinions. But I don't have to accept and allow these types of things that bother me to be on my page. I just don't have to. If you have a remedy that really worked well for you and you're like, no, I want to get this out to as many women as possible, I want to help, then you go make your channel, go make your blog, go make your TikTok and start sharing that remedy. Because it's one thing for me to go looking for a remedy versus you coming to my page and telling me what your remedy is. Don't do that. And the third thing, actually, some of you who come on my page talking about my edges or hairline, you care more about the illusion of full edges, but you're not even taking care of your scalp or your hair. But it's all about having the slayed and laid baby hairs. Baby hairs. I'm an adult. I don't care about having a baby hairs. I don't care. I had them when I was a baby. I'm not a baby. I don't care. I do not like the look of baby hairs. I'm a grown woman. I'm not trying to have that look. I don't care to have that look. And I think it's rude. It's rude to just point out another woman's something physically about her. Now, I'm not one to bring up things that, because, body shaming is a thing. And I don't think it's right. But that's essentially what you're doing when you're so concentrated on, wow, her hairline is really thin. Are you dealing with hair loss? What do you think, Sherlock? I'll tell you what I'm dealing with as we come to the end, but not everyone wants your advice. You just do it to feel superior. Like stop it. Stop it. I've never understood the psychology of a woman who has to go to another woman's page and comment something negative about said woman. I do not have that urge or impulse or any of that. I have no prompting to look at a woman and start breaking down everything that's potentially wrong with her. And if I do, because let's just say I've seen women in my day-to-day life, and I'm like, in my head, I would be like, I think for her body shape, she should wear something, but I keep it to myself. I don't have I'm not going to walk up to a stranger and tell them that. So why would I do it online? Unless I'm a coward. And a lot of people on this internet are cowards. You don't mind being a keyboard warrior hiding behind your typing, but would you say that to my face? Probably not. So that makes you a coward and a hypocrite. And it's the sense of inferiority. You feel so inferior about yourself that you have to point out a flaw in another woman who, you see it's not stopping her. Me having a thin hairline or having little lack of baby hairs does not stop me. I still love the way I look. I love the way God made me. That's not going to stop me. But some of you cannot handle seeing a Black woman with textured hair, loving everything that God gave her and not wishing that she looked like something else. Maybe years ago, you would have loved to see that because I was a very insecure woman and I didn't love myself. I hated the way my hair was. I thought it was ugly. So you probably would have loved to. You probably wouldn't have said anything to me. It's a low class form in the Black community is doing an edge check and talking about someone's hairline. It is so you don't have anything else going on in your life that you have to stop on a random woman's video and you don't even watch the content. You just have to say something negative about her. So I feel like the lace front epidemic that has gone on in our community made us forget what natural even looks like. Not every Black woman has thick edges, and we need to be okay with that. We can't jump to conclusions, because if a woman genetically has a natural hairline that's not as thick as those lace frontals that you have to tweeze and pluck. And lastly, I want to talk about my hairline, my edges, and I hope this will put to rest, even if you're a subscriber and you are someone who supports and you love my channel, because maybe this thought could have crossed your mind too. But unlike the lower class form of people, you held it to yourself. Maybe you've been curious about it. Maybe you've wanted to say something to me, but out of respect for me and not wanting to hurt my feelings, you've never said anything. And I appreciate that. So I'm going to share with you guys my whole journey with my edges and my hairline. I already told you genetically I've never had a thick hairline, but I went through years from 2010 all the way up to, I would say, 2023. I dibbled and dabbled with lace frontals, and not glueless, but I'm talking Ghost Bond, Got to Be Freeze Spray. And so for someone with already a naturally thin hairline, this was very destructive. I am suffering, or seeing, I won't say suffering, I am seeing the consequences, the long-term consequences of that mechanical damage. Yes, there are healthy and safe ways to remove lace fronts if you use the glue down method. But I'm going to tell you this, and I don't care what any woman says. They may say like they have the best way where they don't lose. You will always lose hair at your hairline, because not only is it more fragile, but usually a natural hairline is less in number compared to lace frontals. So yes, my hairline has thinned out over the years from mechanical damage of improperly removing lace frontals. Sometimes I would take it down correctly. Other times I was impatient, because in my previous life with lace frontals, it was a matter of remove it as quick as I can, because I got to remove the glue. I've got to get the glue out of the actual hair of the wig. Then I have to wash and shampoo the hair, dry it, condition it, and then wait for it to dry. Then I had to take care of my hair. And sometimes you would have that glue residue on my hairline. I did. And I had to remove that out of my hair strands. Now, I have fine hair all over my head, but my hairline's hair is even more finer than that. And so if I'm not removing the glue as safely as possible, I'm losing hair, and I did lose hair. I remember those times where I would pull some glue residue out and I had a few strands of my hairline mixed up in there. So yes, my hair has thinned out. My hairline has thinned out over the years. And I did end up switching to glueless method, using like the Got to Be Freeze Spray. But even that's very drying. So if you're drying that hair, you're still breaking it off, all for the sake of keeping a wig on for a couple days. But at least with that, my lace would lift after, like I said, 2 days. Or 3, depending on what my activities were, if they generated sweat or not. So I have faced the truth about my own hairline damage from wearing lace frontals. But there are some women, it's easier to criticize others than admit that you've been doing the same thing. So I absolutely would have changed what I did with my hair years ago, but I can't do anything about that now. And yes, I have tried remedies. I've tried massaging. I've tried the rosemary. I've tried a lot of things, but it's also not something I fixate on, because as I said in the beginning, with the passage of time, as God will allow me, as He will it in me, my hairline will recover and the hair will come back. But in the meantime, I am not trying to get something. I'm not trying to fix it. I'm not trying to fix it. So I don't need the advice. I don't need it because I'm not trying to fix that. I'm enjoying my hair. I'm enjoying everything about it, my hairline and the rest. I'm enjoying it. I do not idolize having a thick hairline. I don't. I took responsibility and I stopped doing that for years. It's been a long time since I've done, the glue and all that. I mean, even now, when I do my wash and goes, I may do a little swooping for fun when my hair is freshly wet, but it'll stay that way for, half a day. And then after 6-7 hours gone by, my hair is back to coiling up on itself because I don't have the texture of hair that wants to just lay flat. I don't fight against my hair, but a lot of Black women do. That's why you say your hair is hard to deal with and it won't do what the girls with silkier hair or hair that wants to lay flat. It can't do that. You're so busy coveting other people's hair and destroying yours in the process. That's the only thing that coveting other textures has done in my journey, is just destroy the beauty of what I naturally had. I did have relaxer damage on my hairline in 2019. And by 2019, I stopped doing the glue. I just said I did the got to be, and I also did glueless methods. But my damage was really primarily in the recent, like I said, 2019 was from a relaxer. And I went and I got my hair relaxed by this, stylist. She knew what she was doing, but she ended up burning my hairline, and there was a scab. And instead of her telling me what happened, she just swooped as much or as little baby hair as I did have to try and cover that scab. And when she showed me the final product in the mirror, I didn't see it. All I knew was thanks. Well, I was crying inside for how limp and lifeless my hair was because I had lost all my volume. So when I got home and I looked in the mirror, I saw 2 scabs and you could see flesh. That's how I have a scab today. Like, you can still see the wound, and that scab actually sheds. With time it sheds, and it's faded over the years. So that's when I was like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back to relaxers. That was enough for me to say enough is enough. Then I big shop 4 months later. I know the Black community at large, and if you narrow it down to the natural hair community, we don't know how to speak lovingly to each other. And I don't know why I expect that. I guess because I cultivate that on my channel. I promise you, every single one of you, if I could see you all in person, there's not a single one of you I would look at and say something's wrong with you. I would see you the exact same way God does. You're His standard. And a lot of wounded Black women online are so sharp with their words, and they're condescending and they're rude. We don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to read the room, and we have no self-control. So, yes, I spent all this time talking about my issues with these types of comments. That's because it did bother me. So I'm bothered. Yes, I'm not afraid to say that I'm bothered. Those comments bother me. And I know people will do hair transplants, hair fibers, black eyeshadow, black gel to give the illusion of a fuller hairline. And I've dabbled in a few of those methods, but on an everyday basis, and when I'm going out with my husband or we're going somewhere, my hairline is what it is. And I don't have any shame about that. I have no shame. Look, trust me, it's much better than walking around with a lace netting glued to your scalp and you pretending it looks natural. So yeah, I know the girls say minoxidil is amazing and derma rolling is good. I mean, I've heard it all. And every time I hear it, I'm just like, it doesn't bother me that much. Yeah, it's a little insecurity. Yeah, it'll poke me a little bit. Yes, of course. But it is not that level of an insecurity. It's the type of insecurity that will, result in a 20-minute long rant. But it's not that type of insecurity where every video I make from now is going to be about my hairline. No. My channel is here to help us all understand that we've been programmed to perceive our hair as a negative thing. And we've been trying to conform to all these different standards, even the ones within our community. But instead, I'm calling women, Black women especially, to return to their original glory, which is God's standard of beauty. And so I just wanted to make this video because I know there are probably many of you that care and you've been curious about that. Well, that's where I am. And I hope that listening to this, you will respect my wishes for it not to be brought up. Because it's black and white. I live with myself every day. I see it. I know. But I also know that I've never been the one to have a thick hairline. So even to me, my hairline doesn't look bad. But I know to everyone else it does. And I know there's probably a lot of you who may have a similar hairline to mine. Maybe it gives you insecurity. Maybe it does. Maybe it does bother you. But I live with myself every day and I love what I see every day when I look in the mirror, and I wouldn't change a thing. Only thing I would change is my destructive habits from the past when it came to my hair. But I'm past that now. And as I said, with time, with God, my hairline could be restored or it may not. Hair thinning happens because of life. Women get pregnant and they lose their hair. They suffer with thinning. Women age, suffer with thinning and hair loss. Women may inherit something on their dad's side of the family with male pattern baldness. Women's hairline will thin out because of stress. I'm not looking for perfection, because I know that my body is deteriorating day by day, because as soon as the baby is born, the body starts aging. You peak in your youth and then it's down. Well, it could be downhill. It depends on how you take care of yourself. But I know that my body is dying daily. So I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just thankful for what I have now, because it could be worse. I could be bald. I could have, patches, bald patches. There are women who do. It could be worse. But I'm thankful for what I have right now. I'm thankful. And I'm learning how to take care and master my hair. And that's it. So I hope my wishes will be respected. Of course, I can't control the internet. I can't even control you. And like I said, I understand when you feel like you can help someone, but please, ladies, never ever give unsolicited advice. Give advice when someone asks for it. And if you don't want to wait for someone to ask for it, that's when you use your gifts and your wisdom to open up your own platform and share your wisdom with the world. But don't impose your beliefs, don't impose your opinions on someone else's platform without that person asking, because it's very rude. Anyway, I had to do this in audio form because I do not like showing up this way. I tend not to focus my energy on negativity or things that bother me. But I think this is a very volatile topic and conversation in the natural hair community. And I thought, let me just channel all of this frustration and insecurity into a video where we could have an open conversation, where I could share my real opinions and thoughts about this and not feel like I have to, walk on eggshells or anything. I hope you get at the end of this that I'm also not saying you can't share your opinion. I'll just reiterate that for anyone who feels like, dang, she really uptight about this. Feel free to share your opinions. I'm always open to them. But it is a parameter I've laid out before you. My edges is no longer a topic of conversation that I am open to having with the internet. So if you feel the need to bring it up, I may remove your comment depending on if it's condescending or not, or I may block you. Not you, my subscribers, but I'm talking about anyone who comes to my page listening and has an urge at their fingertips, hot and ready to say something about my hairline. I have no issue removing people and hiding my channel from them. So that is all I wanted to share today. And I hope, it's hard to say. I hope I came across, in a way that's like not discouraging people but I can't control that. So if you feel some type of way about this and it upsets you the way that I spoke, again, that wasn't my intention, but it's my real thoughts. So anyway, thank you girls for tuning in, for subscribing. We are almost at 3,000 subs. I cannot believe that. I am so blown away by that. So like I said, with growth will come comments and things, and I've got to be able to handle it. I do have tough skin, but like I said, there are just small things that, I'm still working through. I'm human. I'm allowed to have some insecurities, but like I said, it's not really that much, just 10%. It's very small. But for the most part, I just want to say thank you. And thank you to all of you who, you shared, your tips and things like that. I've said that I've responded to many of you who've shared remedies and stuff, and I've told you thanks. But I think here is where I want to draw the line and just let you know that this is not a conversation I'm open to having on the internet. And that's that. So hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you hopefully in video form in the next video next time. Okay? Have a good one. And remember, you are God's standard of beauty. Take care. Bye.